Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Streaming with Git. Today we're gonna have a look at the any percentage challenge for Schouw 2020. I hope we finally can get this world record that we're aiming for. I did some test rounds. I feel confident. I think I can do it. I hope you're ready. I am. Let's do this. Let's go. Meatball. In this time, we are constantly confronted by what everyone is doing at all time through social media. It's an endless loop of people showing their best side on their social platform, and you're constantly comparing yourself to others. The fear of missing out is as old as can be, but social media doesn't make it easier to cope. That's why for transition, our group decided to create a proposal for a social platform which can be used as a tool against FOMO. The app is based upon a map that shows only a radius of about 30 meters in your surrounding area, making the buildings within that radius visible and the rest invisible. So you're really forced to step outside and take actions to see what other peoples are up to. It has also got some features to make it easier to make plans with friends, even if you don't know with who that should be. Becoming friends is also something that gets some more value, since you have to be physically next to one another to become friends. In that way, we make the act of being friends on a network more valuable than it is on existing social media application. So it's no more endless scrolling, but endless strolling. Gerontocratic technology. Unfinished work. For this project, I started my research on the fax machine, a rarely used technology used for communication these days. Fairly quickly, that led me to Japanese culture, where the fax is widely used. In this research, I also discovered that it's not just the fax machines, but also old hard and software. That's because it's been decided by older generations what technologies are used and which ones aren't. Gerontocratic, so to call. I questioned myself the question, why? And from there on, my research began. I wanted to see if I could give old technology some sort of function in our current society. And how would that then look like? I chose the iconic Macintosh from the 80s and 90s, and I tried so hard and so long to get this to work during the process. I got a Macintosh, it didn't work. I got a floppies, they didn't work. I got another Macintosh, it exploded. I got floppies again, it didn't work. I got a Macintosh, it worked. I got floppies, they didn't work. I got floppies again, and it finally worked. Looking back at the process of getting something so seemingly simple as running a computer, it looked like it was made merely impossible to blow life in these old computers. So that's also the moment I decided to not give it a function anymore. This work is about what we can learn from the Japanese way of living in dealing with technology. In the West, we can only embrace old technologies. Our technological infrastructure isn't built for old technologies anymore. That's why I wanted to create this work, where the computer seems broken, but is repaired with kintsugi, a 500-year-old Japanese repair technique, which shows that history can be something beautiful too. So far, it's still unfinished, but I picture this computer always being on and showing digital cracks on the screen, as well as the casing with the kintsugi, because in Western countries, it will probably never find a way to function in this society. I also wrote my essay about what we can learn from the Japanese way of dealing with technology. Design of information. This was a research I did on the behavior of the mouse. I always found it super interesting how to translate the physical to the digital. For example, with the interface of a keyboard or mouse, which helps us navigate the digital realm. I started to film a lot of people and their behavior and saw how fluently and naturally it comes how to navigate our desktop. So I created this task to execute and see how well people would perform the given task, and translated that to scores. From there on, I tried to find ways to modify the behavior of the person by creating a new tool for mouse navigation, giving it more of a performative act. It's a device made of lasers and light sensors which indicate the directions that the mouse moves. What I found is that it's super weird for people discovering new interfaces without giving them any instructions. Their entire body language changes when using the device, and I created more abstract scores of what their mouse movement was doing as well as what their hands were doing. Critical engineering. This project was about an interest I share for streams. I always find it super interesting to watch people stream anything online and an entire community engaging with that streamer. This is for me the power of the stream, the viewer-streamer interaction. But most of the time it's a verbal interaction and no physical interaction. That's why for our stream platform, Hot Streams, Wet Dreams, I created a viewer stream interaction with the chat function. I created a way of translating what people were typing in the chat of the stream into lines on the plotter with dots of ink on the spaces where there wasn't interacted for a while. I think that the platform like Twitch have great potential in viewer-streamer interactive streams. That's why I found it super interesting to be working with it, and I will definitely explore it more in the future. Artificial artifacts. For the start of this project, we started to work with machine learning and how it can assist us designers in the process. I always find visual interpretations of machines quite intriguing. That's why I work mainly with the Big GAN model in Runway, which lets you input any visual and outputs a machine's perception of what you are showing it. I tried a lot of different experiments, like for example drawing with a computer and creating a type page. In the end, I found it interesting that machines are like a black box. In the design process, we always know exactly what is happening, why we made decisions, and how we got to conclusions, like you're looking through glass. But when you use a machine, that becomes concrete, because you have no idea what exactly is going on. That's why I created artificial artifacts. When machines start to become more intelligent than humans, will they find ways of communicating their work to intelligent life forms? The same way that we did on the Voyager 1, a spacecraft with a record on it, and if ever to be found by intelligent life forms, they could have a look at what Earth sounds like. With this in mind, I created an artifact which does exactly that, but from a machine's perspective. Digital art. Recently, I lost my grandma and a friend of mine, which made me start to think about what you would leave behind as a human when you die, your legacy, so to call. As an artist, it is the question if they will ever still be talking about your work 100 years from now. That's why I wanted to create a situation where I translate myself into a room being the representation of me. I wanted the room to breathe like me, sound like me, and feel like me. By the use of a variety of sensors, which all would control the sound and light in the room, so that when I leave the room would still contain a presence of me. Time.